What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of SOTG, Student of the Game. It's your boy, Sir Love, here with my guy, Oz.
One time for the one time.
One time for the one time. Listen, you guys know what we do. We break down clips and we really give you insights and perspectives on how to think about it through dope conversations. So, as we're going to do, let's just have a dope conversation. Check this clip out today. Coming from LL Cool J, we're going to be talking about trust. We're going to be talking about the game. We're going to be talking about contracts. We're going to be talking about it quite a bit. So, buckle in and let's get ready for it. This is a clip of LL on Drink Champs. He's talking about deals and how easy it is to get up in a bad deal. And how kind of to approach it. Now, I want to talk about this because there are some artists that I'm working with right now or that I'm around right now that are dealing with similar situations. I'm pretty sure many of you guys are too. So let's just jump into it.
Hit me with maybe.
But the thing is, I just wanted to be an artist, Nori.
Right.
Like I'm not ashamed of being a rapper. Like I don't need to convince you that I'm more than a rapper. Like I'm okay with that. So because that's all I want. All I want to do is be a rapper and be the best rapper. Like that's what I grew up wanting to do.
So let me ask you something, right?
Yeah.
As a rapper,
Right.
when you hear stories like with Lil Wayne,
Right.
where Lil Wayne is getting maybe taken advantage of, we
Right.
don't really know.
Yeah.
We already know what we see.
It's nothing. You know what? Let me tell you something. There's nothing that Lil Wayne did wrong, and I'll tell you
we know
why.
that.
I'll tell you why. Because like I told you, I own my catalog, and I told you that ultimately I got a great deal. But you know what? If Russell was the worst person in the world, he could have easily taken advantage of me. He could have easily gave me one of those bozo deals that you hear nightmares about. But you know what? Russell wasn't that kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, early on, we did my publishing 50-50. Ultimately, I got all my publishing back, of course. But early on, it was like that. But even then, with my first contract, he only went 50-50. He didn't take it all.
A lot of cats are taking it.
So a lot of times when you hear about guys with bad deals, that says more about the executives that they were dealing with than the actual artists. It's not about them being dumb. It's not about them being dumb. Because you know what? Some guys, I'll give them credit. Like some of the guys, like I told you, I hung around a lot of street guys, but that's not who I was, right? I wasn't a hustler personally. Those were just my friends. But so some guys who are actually hustlers and actually had that life, they get to benefit from all the experiences that they had hustling. So when they come into the game, they're able to make better deals earlier. But some of us, because we weren't hustlers and because we didn't experience, getting cheated and screwed and scammed, we were just innocent kids rapping. We may have been from a rough community, but we were really just innocent kids who loved rhyming. So when you go in and you sign your deal, it's not the greatest deal in the world because you're just excited to be there. And you don't have that maturity and that grit and that grizzle that allows you to, make a better deal early. So some of these guys did benefit. There were benefits for some of them. Some benefited, some didn't. But I don't blame any of these younger artists. Now what I would say is that now with the internet, because the internet wasn't what it was
Even
now.
to play in there,
well, there's access to information.
Research.
You have information out there.
Right.
So you got to want the information. You got to want to make a great deal. Do you want to make a great deal? Are you patient? Do you have the balls to say no?
Patience part.
Because
Are you comfortable saying no?
that was the crazy
Balls
thing
saying
is
I'm
when
comfortable
Def
saying-
Jam.
Let me pause it.
Yeah, man.
Let me pause it. Let's jump into it right here.
Let's do this.
Let's jump into it right here. So, when I listen to a clip like this, I hear, and hold on, what's happening here? What's going on with the audio? Okay, the audio's good. When I listen to a clip like this, what I hear is the truth, right? And I say truth because there's so many artists out there right now that are so pro-independent, so pro, I'm going to do my own thing, I'm going to own my own masters, I'm going to run my own publishings, I'm going to be my own boss, I'm going to do this. And it's like many things in the world, the pendulum swings too far.
Yeah.
The artist went from being, taken advantage of and unjustly treated and all this stuff to swinging all the way to I'm going to do everything myself. I don't need anybody. I don't need, and really the best result is probably somewhere in the middle. But what he's saying is where artists truly are. Right now, artists are talking, saying, I want to own my master. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. And a lot of artists are just artists. They're not business people.
Yeah.
And
true.
that is okay. And what he's saying is that is okay.
Yeah.
Right? I just want it to be a rapper. I just want to be dope at what I'm doing. And he's gonna talk about that in another clip we're gonna play.
Yeah.
But I feel like for artists that are coming into the game, recognize that when you're walking into the situations, only thing that you need to know is baseline information
Yeah.
in order to do something that is not stupid, right?
That's it.
And recognize that when you're in a situation that's worthy of higher credibility or notability, that you bring an attorney in or something like that, right? But this is what I see all the time. Artist comes in, they're excited. Even when artists bring me contracts, yo, can you just take a look at this? They're super excited. They're happy. Like, and the happiness comes from, if you're not a street cat, right? You're just an artist that wants to be successful. All the years and time of people telling you that you're not going to make it, you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that. Your parents telling you to get a real job, this, that, and the third, and then you finally
get that chance.
You get recognized.
Yeah.
You get recognized by a major label or even an independent label. Someone that with some traction, someone that can do something says, "I see you.
I got you.
And you're dope. And you know what? I got you.
Yeah.
Let's win together." Right?
Yeah.
And I believe that the desperation that exists is the reason why bad deals really are signed. He said patience.
Yeah.
He said, do you have the courage to wait? You have the courage to say no, right? It's hard to be that courageous because you're desperate.
I mean, that's the excitement. Like, the excitement turns into desperation really quick when you realize you have to make a decision. You got to figure out, is this deal worth, me signing over X, Y, and Z, or this amount of percentage, right? And I'm not saying that you're losing, but you're not in an advantageous position,
Correct.
So now you're sitting there looking like, okay, what am I gonna do, right? But you don't want the deal to get stale, right? As a young artist, like I would be like super excited, but then my anxiety would come in and like, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. Do I sign this? Do I not sign this? I don't know. And it's like, like when people give you a contract, they're expecting it to be back in a certain time frame. You let it sit too long, they're like, okay, they're not serious. We're gonna go ahead and move on. And you don't want to do that. 18 years old, like LL just described, his first. He could have got taken advantage of by Russell Simmons, right? And Russell just had to be that person to say, you know what, I'm only gonna take half, and we'll go from there. That's something that during that time, right, with any record label was kind of unheard of, right?
Right. It wasn't a regular practice.
It was not,
right.
But they learned how to win together. But the thing is about it is that he took a chance on him and he trusted him, like you said. But the excitement turns into desperation because you want to be a part of that, like. It's Russell Simmons. You know what I mean? And his brother, Run DMC. Come on, like, why not? You know what I'm saying?
And
it's like...
That's what gets people.
Yeah.
That's what gets people. But there is a level of trust that has to come into place. And the question is, how do you go about... If you're an artist, how do you know who to trust? How do you go about creating trust? Because a person can do a bad deal with artist A and a great deal with artist B. And it can be the exact same executive.
Yeah.
Right? And so how does an artist even know who rocks with them? And I think that when you're an artist and you don't know the game, first thing is you have to know baseline. Huh? I will come up there when we get done. Play with your brother. Real life people. So, when you are when you are an artist and you're looking at signing a deal, right? I'll give you an example. There's an artist right now that I know that was interning at a major studio here in Atlanta, right? And this is a recent thing that just happened. This is not 10 years ago. This is just happened. Interning at the studio, been putting a lot of work in the studio. Okay. Artist is an extremely talented writer. Extremely talented. Amazing even. Like I look at it makes me want to come back sometime. But I'm like, I got some other things to finish.
Pump your brakes on that.
I got some other things to finish. Right. So amazingly talented.
Right.
Looking for direction. Like many talented artists, because most artists that are truly talented don't have the business sense, to me, in my opinion.
True.
They're very deep in their creative world and what they're able to do. They're into how they dress and how they look, and they're studying things like how should I walk and how should I position, like how should my posture be, and like they're very big on detailed concepts of their artistry.
The energy of it.
Right. Yeah. The all the stuff we talk about in the book. Right.
Yeah.
And when you're all into that and you're performing at such a high level at creating stardom, like when celebrity, I don't know if you've been around, or not everyone watching has ever been around a major celebrity, but when a major celebrity walks into the fucking room, it's like they can take the air out that bitch.
Yeah, everybody kind of just stops and stares
And it's not. I'm sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
no, you know,
It's not just their celebrity, or their fame, because an Instagram person with 12 million followers can walk in the room
do
and
the exact
it's
same
not.
thing. Yeah,
No,
No.
they can. Some can, but some can't.
this is true too. It just depends on the lane that you're in. But go ahead.
I was at a restaurant, and I'm gonna go back to the story. I went to a
Right.
restaurant, Instagram superstar in a restaurant, chilling, million followers, just a regular person. I ain't know said person. I was just talking to the manager and just having good vibes, and then find out that, oh, you're this person, and all these people know you, but this person didn't move like a star. Right?
Okay.
Turn around. This person's doing major deals with major. I don't want to say these names,
Right.
Because I like these people that I'm talking about. Right. We got a good thing going.
Right.
But in short, the artist, the talent wasn't moving like a star.
Right.
But there are Instagram people that can move like a star.
Yeah.
There are artists that are the same way, but the artists in the music industry to get to the top, like their presence is fucking phenomenal, right? Like you can get a deal on that shit because everyone knows if you got that's the hard shit. You get that shit, oh I can find some producers and writers to make you a goddamn record.
Right.
Right? And she's working on that shit. The writer I'm talking about is working on that shit.
Right.
Right? And getting better and better and better and better. And I'm feeling the energy. I'm like, oh, okay, I see where you're going. Right? To even be on that path and mindset is some industry I'm on a certain path shit that a lot of artists, independent artists aren't even aware of. Right? Anyway, so said artist finally, she's interning at a studio, trying to get out there, trying to get heard, and famous executive who everyone watching this knows, not gonna call out just because that's not what I should do.
Right.
We talk, you know who I'm talking
I know
about. We talked about it before we turned the cameras on.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Walks in the room, or not walks in the room, but comes around and says, "Yo, you got it. I want to sign you. I want to do the deal. We can do a deal." And they talked a little bit about the deal. The person basically said, "We're gonna do 95.5." Right? And this artist, knowing who this executive is so freaking excited to do 95.5. And the fact that these words even come up, because I'm trying to understand from the artist, like, what stage of the conversation did the person mention that it was going to be 95.5? And it's because the superstar executive doesn't say it. The person that comes to you after them that talks the details says it.
Right.
And luckily for said writer, the deal fell apart. And the deal fell apart for something that I talked about in previous videos, which is something that I hate that is done often in the music business, which is people fighting and arguing over invisible money. So all the other not executives, but the other people involved in the deal, involved in finding this writer, are now fighting over who's going to get what
percentage off of this.
Off the deal, right?
Yeah.
Because this artist is only getting 5. We don't know what the executive is really going to take from it.
Right.
So everyone else is fighting over whatever's remaining.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And their inability to agree with one another
Cause them to
caused the whole thing to fall out.
So fumbling the bag.
I see that happen all the time. People fighting over invisible money. We ain't made a check yet.
We ain't got a check yet.
Check ain't got cut, but we fighting over what could be. Anyway, deal falls through. Obviously, it gets to me through my channels. Obviously, everyone knows what I do, so people always come to me for help and guidance and the third.
Right.
And I'm hearing the story, and I'm like, man, you dodged a bullet.
For real.
You dodged a bullet.
You just don't know.
Like, I know more about the person that you see as, I know more than you think, and you
Yeah.
dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
Right? Because I know what's the situation of that person is and where they sit in the game right now based on allegations, things. I know what's up with that individual and where their companies are. I'm like, people in the game do this.
Oh yeah. It's like the stock market, man.
No matter how big you are, you can be right
fall.
here and you might have to make your way back up.
Yes, sir.
And, anyway. So I say all this to say, super passionate artist, writer and artist, extremely talented, ready to give up 95% of anything that she does for a shot, an opportunity to get in.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And when LL Cool J says, man, I could have gotten taken advantage of, I was just a kid that was happy to win. That's not an old concept.
Not at all.
It's happening
It's
today.
a very present situation that continues to keep perpetuating itself throughout music and how it's growing. It's just, that's a really tough deal to swallow. But then also to come on the like I'm seeing both sides, right? You get this deal, they want 95% of whatever you make.
Right.
I can't swallow that. Me personally, I can't do it. But then again, this is 34-year-old me. Right. You know what I mean? This is not 18-year-old,
right.
You know, OZ running around trying to get these deals. Because at that point in time, based on the person that you said, yeah, I probably would have did that then. Like it'd have been hard to walk away from.
It would have been hard to walk away from.
It really
There's
hard.
too much
really,
success
really
tied to that, to the name.
Yeah.
And so it makes you go, well, shoot, maybe I can win, because I might not ever get this opportunity again.
And that's the thing. That you don't never want to be the person that had the opportunity to do something and you messed it up because you were too scared to make that decision, right?
But here's the flip.
Right.
I've met artists that had, and I can say this because it didn't happen, right? So I'll say this name. But there was an artist that was doing a deal with Puff back in the day. Right? And he didn't like the contract that Puff had on the table, right? And it's an accomplishment that you got a deal with Puff on the table in itself, right?
Yeah.
He didn't like the deal that Puff had on the table. And this is Diddy, you know, now, obviously. He was Puff then, I believe. No, he was Diddy. He was Diddy already. So he had a deal with Diddy. And he walked away from it because he didn't like the contract. He felt disrespected. He felt like he was getting played, walked away from it. Well, fast forward, since that point, there's a whole bunch of people that Diddy Puffy has made successful since that point. And this guy that walked away from the deal never made it. So on the other side of the conversation is, do you take the bad deal and potentially get the opportunity to live out your dream?
Maybe, yeah. I hear you. I know. That's the...
And not necessarily get paid properly from it? Or do you walk the pathway of saying, I'm going to do my own thing or find a greener pastures? But do you have the skill, the talent, the team, to do so?
But see, that's what we were talking before we got on. It's trust and maturity, right? Because if you are mature enough to take that type of deal and you trust yourself or even trust the person who you're doing the deal with to at least do what they say they was going to do in the deal, you know that you're going to try to come in with 120, 150%, you know, doing what you got to do to make sure that everything that you're supposed to do in that deal comes through. Exactly. Right. Because we talked about this before. When you get a deal, it's not just for you to sit back and, you know, kick your feet up and wait for the label to do all the work.
Right.
You got to go there and go do some work too. So now it means that you're going to have to be able to put some time into effort into what you're about to do. So that means you have to be able to take care of that, be mindful of that situation. If you're going to go down that route, you got to have some type of, like I said, maturity about yourself to do so, because to build a team, to stay on task, to, you know, meet deadlines, meet goals, hit those points, all of that stuff is not something that you do just off the fly. That's something that you have to do on the basis of understanding where you are in your life. Like I said, 18-year-old me would not have been able to do that because I don't know nothing about the game, right? At 18, right, I'm still in my mom's crib making
beats online.
Exactly.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? And so now it's a whole different thing as you get older, or realizing that, hey, if I want to do this, I got to make this deal. I got to go down this route. And yeah, I got to give up so much, but I can make something out of it. I can make connections. I can meet whoever I need to meet to take me to that next level. I just got to stay grinding in this space. I can use this as training grounds, right? And instead of me training at home, at least I'm training in the
studio. And that brings me to one of the deals that I did, that I put out there, that's no longer available for anybody.
Right.
Which was...
And thank y'all for your submissions. Definitely.
A lot of listening.
Yeah.
Shit. I honestly don't know if I'll do that again, guys. It's a lot of listening. It's a lot of listening. At this point, I know who's dope and who's not.
Who's not.
There's some people that didn't make it that still did dope shit.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Definitely.
So the sync deal that we did was helping people get the syncs. there's an individual that we're working with, and his thing was like, hey man, I was like, why have you guys signed this? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
We've had like 3-4 conversations at this point. Hey, stuff got to get processed. What's going on, right? And so the feedback from management was like, hey man, just being honest, we don't really understand this. It's like I explained it to you. It's one thing to hear it, but then to see it on paper, it's like, whoa, right? It's like, what am I signing up for? What am I doing? What am I, right? And it's like, we got to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so if you don't already have an attorney set up, you don't have time to go find an attorney, give them a retainer, all these things so they can look over this simple agreement and explain to you what's going on, right? And it's like, they're like, yo, I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to walk you through it? He's like, yeah, you want me to do it? I'm like, perfect. I will walk you through it. But in the midst of me getting stuff done that I got to get done, I still haven't had time to call dude back to walk him through it because it's like him growing and winning is important to me.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other things that are prioritized above that conversation.
Yeah.
There are major conversations that I still need to have that I haven't had that I'm late on. That I still got to get back to. So it's like I got to make that call after all these things. Days go by. We still got to process.
Right.
It's your opportunity. It's on the table.
Yeah.
So if I don't get back to you in a reasonable time, you still got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah,
and they did.
Right.
They did what they need to do. But the scary part about it is, again, like LL was saying, there's a trust factor.
Mm-hmm.
And what he did that I can appreciate, but I also want to highlight to everyone else, what he did is said, listen, man, I trust you. Yeah. Let's just do it.
Let's just do it.
He got it done. I said, when I get a chance, I'm going to call you and walk you through it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But at the same token, I want people watching this channel to not be in that situation. Like, I know that I'm a trustworthy person. Right. I sit online. If I wasn't, by now, a bunch of people, I've been doing this, 4 years?
Right.
At some point, somebody would be online saying, sir, fuck me over. Sir, did some fuck shit. Like, it would
whatever it came
out.
It
You know by now.
Right.
Right? But everyone doesn't move like I do.
No, they don't.
And even in doing this deal with people, so a part of me doing this deal required me to reach out to other people to dispense the information to other subgroups. And even in some of those conversations, some of those people flipped it a whole nother way. Weren't honest about what it is. And then come to me and say, hey, man, you got to pitch it like this. Right?
Yeah.
And so then it's like...
Yeah, so why do I need to do it like that?
Why I gotta pitch it like that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, man, I want people to know what's going on, but I want to sell the value because everything you do in this game is strategy.
Yeah.
Everything you do is strategy. And you may give up something. Like I think my mentor used to say, you got to give a sacrificed lamb.
Yeah.
And that used to sound so at a time period when I'm young, watching all these videos about the Illuminati and the music business. And I'm like, sacrifice the lamb. I'm thinking, he said, let me cut animals open. That you trying to put me in a ritual? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? He's like, sometimes you got to sacrifice something to get in.
Yeah.
And, we were doing, at the time I was learning through him, we were doing a deal where we had multiple acts and we were willing to take a loss on one act in order to get a W on the other. And I was thinking, well, that's not fair. The first person is not going to get the same opportunity as the second person and this, that, and the third, right?
Right.
And he was like, sometimes you got to give up something to get. So I have to take a loss on this deal so that I can get a win on the next one, right? And I see artists do that and win all the time.
Right.
They might go and do a deal and it's like, yo, we want your first 2 albums. And it's like, shit. I got to give up my first 2 just to get in. I might be broke for X amount of time just to get in. But that third one, if I did what I was supposed to do, if I am as dope as I said I was, if I am as talented, if I do stay focused, if I don't let the drugs and the sex and the distract me, if I do what I'm supposed to do going forward, then that third one, woo!
Yeah, it should be fire.
And from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on,
it's all me, baby.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But many artists don't get to 3.
Nah. Many artists don't even get past 1.
Many artists don't get past 1.
Right.
So then you're like, man, I did these huge shows. I was doing shows at festivals in front of thousands of people and I'm broke. But a lot of times in those situations, you were doing shows in front of thousands of people, but they didn't come to see you. Because the label put you on festivals and this or that. And then when you do get to that point, you still got back pay. So it's like, this conversation isn't about a solution to me.
No, it's not.
It's about a thought process that one must take on in order to create opportunity.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's, if one wants to truly be independent, then they must learn as much of the business as they can. And they must be able to execute it. This means a lot of reading.
You can't get away
A
from
lot
it.
of reading.
Can't get away
Because
from
there are a lot, because even when I do videos,
Yeah.
the stuff that I can say in these videos versus the stuff that I can write down in the book, it's just different.
It is different.
It's a different way of thinking when I'm communicating. It's just different, right? All the freaking books, you know how many books I had to read on publishing to really get it?
I know. I was watching
And
you do
then
it 'cause I wasn't
the
doing it.
the legal jargon and trying to understand what the fuck is going on, and then studying great people, all the greats before, how they negotiate their deals and what that meant.
Yeah.
Right? And then to say, let me take all that and consolidate it and make it simple.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to do a lot of reading. And then after you read, you have to be able to put shit in practice.
Yeah.
So if you read a book on how to drive a car, and you think you're going to get out there and drive a car without making some mistakes, you slipping, you tripping.
Yeah, you tripping.
You tripping, right?
Yeah, that's a whole new world. It's not like walking no more.
It's a whole new thing. So you're either going to learn by fire the first time, or you're going to learn about fire and then go get in the fire. Either way, at some point, you're getting in the goddamn fire.
Yeah.
Now, it's beneficial to learn about fire before you get in. That way, you're not taken aback. You're not like, oh, shit, it's hot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But either way, you got to go through it. Right? You'll just be more prepared. I have fire gear. I have this. I have that. Right? If you had to go into a burning building, I read enough books to buy the proper stuff to go into this building. Yeah. Oh, the fire's doing this. From what I read, I should do that. But then some shit happens, like some shit falls over. Oh fuck! I never read about what to do.
This part over here,
right?
Yeah.
So, but you have more knowledge going into it. If you're not going to take that much time to learn the game up front, then you have to develop the other sense, which is discernment.
Yeah, man.
And trust.
Man. Yeah.
How do you interview the people that you're going to be working with? It's a real question.
Yeah, that's the realest question, because in the end of the day, like, and that's a mature question. You got to know what to do with that. Like you said, like you what you're talking about is speculative versus operative, right? You're talking about watching the game rather than playing the game. And if you're going to do that, right? If you're going to have that conversation, yeah, it might be best to go ahead and learn the move sets before you go out there and go play, right? Nobody wants to go play basketball and never played basketball before, but then want to go play in the NBA. Right? That makes no sense at all. You will be utterly trashed, right? And be disgraced on the court and then be pushed off. Like, you will never be allowed to get back on the court again because you don't have the necessary skills. And it's okay not to have the skills, right? Because in the music game, if the music game was the NBA, we'd have so much people in the draft pool ready to get in, and it's drafting every day, basically. Right?
There's no. But the difference with sports is that there's a pooling. There's levels. You have to go from little league to make the middle school team, to make the high school team, to make in music. You don't gotta do shit. You you're just out there free willing it, right?
Like you said, you can go up here and go right back down just as quick. Down. It doesn't matter, right?
But this is the reason why record labels, and when I say record labels, guys, I am not just talking about majors. Yeah. And I think that people say, I want to stay independent, and that's a whole conversation in itself. A record label is a record label is a record label. Whether the label is major or independent,
it don't matter. Big or small.
They both have to make money the exact same way. The only difference is one has a better track record of doing it.
That's it.
And one has been doing it longer.
Yeah, that's
one
it.
has produced better talent.
That's it.
One is more mature in the space. So the one that doesn't have the same maturity in the space, that doesn't have the track record, that doesn't have this, they know that in order to compete, they have to offer better deals because otherwise you can get the same thing at a major.
Yes, sir.
So an independent label still coming for the same shit. They still want money from the masters.
Yep.
They still want the publishing. They still want this. And as an artist, you have to be willing to give up some of these things.
That's it.
Because otherwise, you're asking someone to work for you for free.
And that ain't happening. I'll tell you that right now.
No one's doing that.
Especially right now. Especially in the midst of this whole pandemic, the way music is about to move into this next stage.
Yeah.
Like streaming is about to be it's really about to take over everything. There is going to be no reason to do anything else as far as in that world from what I see.
I feel like we're already there.
I mean, yeah, but it's like it's gotten to the point now where it's like live shows are going to be like more streamed. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, hey,
there's actually a new app out right now that's really dope.
See,
where that's what the dude is doing. They're selling digital tickets that you buy with your thumbprint from the app store for your products. It's the in-app purchases, and you can buy access to a concert.
Wow.
You can watch the concert on your phone, or you can stream it to your Roku, to your LG TV, to your Fire Stick, and you can watch everything live. And I mean, it's been where we're going. Everything is going there. When you look at the Oculus and the 3D goggles and being able to sit at the show without being at the show, there's going to be new experiences and new ways to make money. So it's going to be the digital experience and then the live experience. And you have to recognize that we already see that there's value in the digital experience because everyone's at the concert with their phones up and all their friends are at home watching it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's already value in the digital side of it. And so I already see that being a thing.
Yeah.
I see them cracking down on phones at concerts now, just like comedians do, because they're going to want to make that money themselves. Especially with YouTube monetizing live.
They might shut that. They might do like the smartest thing to do is, I mean, if you didn't notice in the Capitol, like when we had the whole rioting situation, or whatever, there's a cell tower under the Capitol. Mm-hmm. If anything happens, right, in that Capitol, that's why they were able to get all these people, because when they walked into the Capitol, it pinged them, and they knew exactly what cell phone they have and where they were and where they were inside of the building. So technically, what they could do, what I'm envisioning what will happen is, and if somebody takes my idea, I promise you, I'm coming after you. But what I think they'll probably end up doing is they'll probably end up putting these cell towers next to these major stadiums, and they will shut down everybody's phone in that space
during that time.
And the only thing you'll be able to do is make emergency phone calls. You can't stream. You have no access to the outside world. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of
take pictures.
You can take pictures.
You can do everything the phone can do, but you can't connect to the internet.
But you can't connect to the internet. You know what I'm saying? And now you're in a situation where there is no streaming. And if you do decide to put this up, I mean, you
can put it up later.
You can put it up later, right? But you won't be able to do it in real time. And that might be the next. That's why I say that with this streaming platform, we're going to be literally at home more watching it and paying pay-per-view to watch a concert. You know what I mean? Like I remember seeing my first Janet Jackson concert on HBO.
Yeah.
But it was like pre-play because of course she went and did her whole tour and they did the whole compilation and HBO did their thing. But that's going to be the new thing.
That's the next
I mean,
thing.
they're doing it now. Tidal and there's many things that they're doing, and how they're pushing out these artists and they're streaming and live or whatever. So it's like that's about to happen. Artists now don't have the time to play around, right? Because like I said, the game is like the stock market. Literally the game. As we used to, when we came in, we were talking about music in general, you had to build your audience slowly, right? Mm-hmm. Because not everybody had the medium. No one had the record players, no one had the radios, right? Yep. You have to hear it later on, and sometimes and eventually it got into commercials, and people started hearing your stuff more, and now they're going to seek it. Again, it started going up like this, but when the internet hit, boom, everything changed. Now everybody got access to it. And now we don't have to go see you. You gotta fight to get to me now. Right? Before it used to be, let me put a couple posters up, right? Let me go sell my CD out the trunk of the car at the mall. I can get 100 people to buy off this for $1, right? I can do that. Can't do that no more. Nobody want to see that, right? Especially if you trash, right? All right, I'll check you out. Slip it in. Oh, this is trash. Or even this. Why you giving me a disc? Why you don't got no Instagram? You don't got no, you know what I'm saying? So and as we go up to this point where everything is digital, everything is streamlined, you're going to have to be really mature about the deals that are coming across the table because they're going to be looking more like what you got right there, what you just said. 95.5. Why? Because there's so much money in the streaming world. And if I got enough play, I can just scoop up as many streams as I possibly can, whether I'm paying for them, whether I am really getting them organically. But I've got to hold on to them as hard as I can because at any point in time,
artists can go up or go down. And when I look at that opportunity, and I look at the guy that had the Diddy opportunity,
yeah,
there's a consistent theme that happens throughout both that I don't think that they're considering. And it's something that I take into everything that I do, which is there's always a standard agreement.
Yeah.
So people say, oh, that's standard, right?
Yeah.
But how many times I've talked my way around a standard agreement, I can't name, right? And in many situations, the standard agreement is in place just because they have to have something.
Yeah.
When this comes up, it's like, I need, like you go to Phase 6, and it's like I need to, when we built Phase 6, it's like people are gonna be buying stuff online. We have to have terms and conditions. We have to have basic things.
Yeah.
So let's put those basic things together. No one calls us and says, "Hey, want to renegotiate the terms of your agreement?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not saying you should. So we're not going to.
Because we're not.
But that's a wide scope thing. But the need for something to be in place is just a legal checkbox for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of times when I negotiate deals, I'll end up talking to whoever's in legal, and it surprises me how often they don't even know what's in the fucking agreement that they're asking me to sign.
That's real.
Right? And I go, well, we can't do this because of that. And then this agreements that I've gotten, I said, well, what you're asking me to do in this agreement is illegal. I can't do that. You have to add this, that, and the third. Otherwise, this is not even binding. Like, it's not even legal. And then I'll go, oh, you're right. And I'm like, well, what are we doing?
What are we doing here?
Then
why are we putting illegal
they'll have a
practices
junior
inside?
attorney talking to me and then realize, well, let me loop in so-and-so. They'll loop in another attorney who actually knows what the fuck is going on for us to renegotiate the whole damn thing. And I normally when I'm negotiating, I'm not even trying to buck. I understand the value, strategy. I understand the value of what we bring to the table.
Yeah.
I understand their vision and what they're trying to accomplish. And I'm not trying to go in and just take everything and say me, mine, which is how many people think. I'm going into it saying, how can you accomplish your goal and we accomplish our goal and everybody fucking
be
win?
happy, yeah.
Right?
We all can win together.
That's what I'm going in there knowing we giving up shit. I'm going in there knowing you going to have to give up shit. And I'm knowing that if you're not willing to give up shit, that either I'm going to A, say, do we still want this?
Right. Is it worth it?
Or B, if you've given me a lock where it's like I can't move, then we just decide. We want it or no.
Yeah. Trust and maturity.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you're right. I didn't have that at the beginning. And so when you are doing these deals early, the only other option for you is discernment. You have to think about who you're doing a deal with. How vested are they in you? How much time are they spending with you? What are they doing? Are they really showing you that they're interested in your success? What are the conversations like? Right? And the flip side of that is the person can still screw you over, even if you discern that they rock with you.
Yeah, they're
so
trustworthy. Yeah,
there's a bit of a roll of the dice.
Yeah, every time.
If you're the artist.
But that's why I say the best thing you can do if in that deal, mature me, 95.5, mature me, probably wouldn't take that deal. 18-year-old me probably would have took that deal and been green. 25-year-old me would have been like, I'll take this deal. What do I need to do to make it worth my while?
Right.
And then every opportunity I get to be in front of somebody who can take me to the next level, I am going to give 110% of my energy to that person.
And that's what people don't realize. I think when you're I don't think artists understand time.
Yeah.
Which I think is important. First off, breaking a record takes at least a year.
No, you say
right.
Man, you say that there.
So you can have a record that goes viral.
Yeah.
That can take less than a year. But you can have records that go viral that take a year.
Yeah.
But you can have a record that goes viral in 3 to 6 months. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't add the proper fuel to that fire, it's going to fizzle out. The next thing is going to come up. And you will still end up working that record that went viral for a year, 2 years, 3 years. You're going to be working the same fucking record.
Yeah.
Right? And so when artists are like, I got to get on now, I got to get on before I'm a certain age, I have to do certain things, I don't think you recognize just how time works.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are making decisions that say, I have to get on now at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you should be thinking, I want to do this in 3 years. I want to do this in 5 years.
Right.
And in order to do that, I must do this.
Yeah.
Like the mindset shift completely changes how you think about deals, how you think about every situation in front of you. Instead of feeling like now or never, YOLO, win or lose, your mindset changes into how can I do this so that I can do that, and then I can do that. And you start just naturally, by adding time to a goal, you become more strategic.
Mm.
I sound like a big person.
It did.
Talk to the people. Hold on.
Yeah, man. So, what I'm realizing is when it comes down to this whole music thing, you guys, like, we're going to have to start having a different mindset, like exactly what Sir is talking about. We're going to have a different mindset going into these situations. We've got to be able to want to be in these positions, but we got to be careful. We got to take caution, be precautious, right, basically, and start to realize that, hey, everything that we want to do, everything that we want to accomplish can be accomplished, but it can't be accomplished in the time frame that we are operating in currently, right? Everybody wants everything now. Right, that we are instant gratification. We love instant gratification. We want everything to be given to us when we want it, but that's not how this world works. Digitally, yeah, we can press a button and everything comes back, but when it comes down to real life and how we move, we all move to the beat of a drum, and that drum is time. We have to take our time on doing things. We can't get everything when we want it, how we want it. There's goals that we have to set. There are goals that have to be made. If I'm not mistaken, this is what you're getting at. And if you don't know, first of all, you need to know what goals you need to try to achieve. And if you don't know those, you need to take a step back and figure out what do you want out this music career. Because if you just want to make music, you can do that in the basement and just
never pop off.
You don't have to. You're just doing it for your own therapy.
A big reason why the management book has a whole section on goals and planning and how to do this and how to think about that. Because like, that's management that's what if you're an artist, you need to manage yourself.
Yep.
Or you have a manager.
Yep.
Either party, both of them have to. The idea of managing something is to say that there are multiple things coming in, there are multiple things that have to go out, and there are timelines associated with all these things. In addition to what's just existing, there's the fact that we as a whole want to progress this thing in this direction or that direction or whatever. And so then I have to say, how do I keep all these things moving as I push something here or push something there? And if we don't have clear defined goals on how that's going to happen, it doesn't happen.
It all falls apart.
If we don't write it down, it doesn't happen. Yeah. And so the artist that takes the deal up front can say, if you're thinking, I'm going to blow up and be the biggest artist ever, I'm going to be a superstar, right? I got to sign this deal.
You sound like somebody we both know.
Okay. So, like, so they'll fuck around and look at a deal and go, no, that's not it. I need it like this. I'm worth this. I listen to the baby. He got $1 million. I want $1 million. I want a goddamn, right? It can change your view, your lens when you realize that, okay, either A, I take this deal, or A, I negotiate this deal, right? Or B, I keep working so that I can come back and get a better deal.
Right.
I was watching when T.I. was talking to 21 Savage on his Expeditiously. He mentioned that 21 wanted to sign to T.I. They were talking about it.
Yeah. And
T.I. basically said, listen, man, I knew that if I would have signed you, I would have had to take everything from you. And I was like, nah, let that little kid work. He gonna keep grinding. He gonna get it.
Right.
And the reason he's saying that is because when you do not have anything,
I
have
everything.
to get more because I have to make back
what I put in.
Sorry. Right?
Yeah.
And so if you already have more, I do less, therefore I'm comfortable with getting less.
Yeah.
Because my less is still a lot.
It has to be.
Like, I'm willing to make these calls, do this for a lesser fee, and your team can make it run it. Like, I can eat. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Right?
Because then I don't have to do much.
I don't got to do much.
I just got to put you on.
I just got to put you on.
That's it.
But if I have to work, you, my friend, are going to give up everything.
everything is
because
mine.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
What's unfair is when a person says, if I have to work, you're giving up everything, and then they don't work.
And then they don't work.
That's the bullshit.
That's the bullshit.
That's the bullshit.
Yeah.
But when you're the artist, the strategic concept is, you know what? I'm willing to give up more now because I know, even though I think I'm dope, I know that my following isn't as big as I'm up here talking about acting like it is.
Facts.
Right? I know my music hot, but I know this many people haven't seen it. No, I do not have 20 million plays on YouTube. No, I do not have music circulating radio. No, my record is not playing in clubs all throughout the country. No, like, I know that I don't already have shit popping.
Don't.
I know that I have the potential to have shit popping. Therefore, if these individuals can help me build myself to get my shit popping, then let's do the deal. Okay, you giving me the fuck shit deal? Let's do the deal. Let's lock it in for one album. 1 album or 3 years, whichever happens less.
But let me ask you this question.
Whatever happens first.
when you're looking at those deals like that, knowing that you don't have anything coming into the situation and they're going to take majority of it, when they do you ask them to write out in that contract exactly what they're going to do, or you just you just let them write their standard contract? You look at it and they say, we're going to take this, and then we're going to do something around this area. Or do you be specific about those things that they're going to do? Like you said, if you're going to be an artist, you got to have these goals. Are you going to have to hold them to those same standards?
That's a great question. So someone asked this question on Ask Sir Love. I talked about it some. I think we can expand on it here, which is when I've done different things, I map them to action.
Mm-hmm.
You want very deliberate things from me. Therefore, I want very deliberate things from you. And if I don't see that in here, then we're not doing it.
Mm.
That's my view,
Okay.
right? Because, or again, my other stance is, at the end of the day, I'm not the artist.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I still have to go back to the client and say, hey,
do you want to do this? Yeah.
do you want to do it? And they may say, well, what do you think? And I may say, I don't like it. I don't think we're going to get anything better.
Mm.
Or I don't like it. I think we can get something better somewhere else.
Right.
Or, it's like, it's your choice. This is how it could play out, but it could also play out like this.
Right.
Your career, your decision. My advice would be that we do this, but this is your decision. You got to live with the outcome of what we decide to do right now.
That's
Not
real.
me.
That's real.
Right?
That's definitely real.
And that's all I can do. Because, like, what my thing is, you're going to get the standard agreement first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go through it. I'm going to highlight, circle, all sorts of shit, right? I'm going to talk to the person, and I'm going to say, hey, I got a bunch of different questions.
Right.
And the thing that I do, just to give people insight, this is just, I guess, this is probably some cool shit. What I do, and y'all buckle up for this. What I do is, they always send agreements in PDF, first off, because they don't want anyone changing anything, right? Some sneaky shit to do would be to take the PDF, turn it into a Word doc, change the shit yourself, put it back in the PDF, sign it, send it back.
Send it back to them.
You could do that. They may catch you.
They will catch you.
They might not. Sometimes, believe it or not, they might not. You could do that shit, because I know I cracked. Someone sent me a contract recently. I cracked it open, and you can crack them PDFs so easy now, right? But even Google does it now. You can just convert it to a Google Doc.
There you go.
So I convert the shit to a Google Doc.
Right.
And I go in and highlight everything that I don't like. It's down to third, and I get on a call with the company, and I say, hey, these are things that I want clarity on. And when I go into the call, I always go into the call happy, positive.
Gotta be.
I gotta change that energy.
Yeah,
I don't want,
yeah.
because we're getting ready to have a war conversation.
Oh yeah.
So I don't want it to feel like a war conversation, because I still want the most positive outcome for the client.
That's the art of war. Right
So
there.
we go into the conversation. It's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Man, what is it? Where you at, Cali? Oh man, shit, y'all still locked down, ain't you? Man, you need to come on out here to Atlanta and stop playing. It's like, yeah, I got family out there. It's like, yeah, okay, well, where your family from? Oh, yeah, I know the area. I was like, yeah, man. I was thinking about going to Cali, but shit, man, you got way too many people in too tight of a space for me. They don't have enough beach for me to feel safe.
Kill
out
them
there.
with the small talk.
Just start it off. They're just like, yeah, it's like, all right, well, I know you're busy, so I want to jump into it. Is there a hard stop I need to be aware of? question I ask. So I can
smart.
time myself.
Yeah, on what I need to get in before you decide to get off this.
Right. Because last thing you want to do is small talk your way out of getting the shit that you actually want to get done.
Right.
You have a hard stop I need to be aware of? Well, yeah, I gotta be. Okay, cool. So I'm looking over the agreement. First off, we're super excited to work with you. A client's super excited. They've already started working. I've already heard some of the content. And, listen, man, we about to blow this out the water. I just want to make sure that we have a clear understanding of, where all the parts land, so that we can make sure that we're all on the same page. And so, all right, cool. So there are a couple different sections that I want to go over. All right, and they're like, all right, and they're like, okay, let's talk about it. I said, all right. I then say the thematic problem. Well, the problem is there are a couple different contradictory areas, and I want to make sure we're aligned, right? If that is the thing. The problem is that I feel like we're off in the percentages and the numbers throughout the agreement. I really feel like, the numbers need to shift.
Right.
I feel like that thematic problem set the tone. After setting the tone, then I go straight into... I don't know, like a Bible joke is my thing. It's like, all right, if you turn your pages over to Galatians 5, chapter 4, and I see something else, they'll start laughing. I'm like, no, for real. But section 5, section A, area 5, section A, whatever, paragraph A, whatever, fuck. And I'll talk about it, I'll read it to them. I said, do you see it? And they're like, hold up, I'm trying to find it. They'll do some crap like that. And then I'll talk about it. And I said, okay, now hold your finger there. Now come down to this section. And tell me how these two things correlate, because I am perceiving it this way. Do you perceive it that way? What were you trying to get across?
Right.
And they may, because all the time, I don't like to accuse people of bullshit. Like, sometimes I may read some shit that's clearly bullshit.
Yeah.
But I don't want to tell you it's bullshit.
No,
I want to just say, what are your...
I want you to tell me.
Yeah, what you tell me is like, this is what I'm getting from this.
Right.
What are you getting?
Right.
Like, okay.
Explain your bullshit.
And then after that, and after that, I go, okay, well, what about this? How about we switch it this way?
Right.
Are you comfortable if we change the language in this way? I don't just come with the problem. I already have the solutions mapped out.
Yeah. Because it's got to make sense to you too.
We all got to be on the same page.
Yeah. Because I mean, push comes to shove, something bad happens, y'all got to go to court, right? You need to be in the same position as them. Y'all got to be on the same level. Like, y'all know exactly where y'all at. So I get that part. So my question now would be, would you record that conversation?
No, you can, but that sets up the whole abrasive thing that we're trying to avoid.
True.
Right?
True. But we in Georgia.
In Georgia, we can. But wherever the contract is, because I think that contract is by the laws in New York. Even though the person I'm doing the deal with is in Cali, the headquarters of the company is in New York. So the laws of New York would apply.
They gonna sue you in New York.
Right.
Yeah,
well, no, they just throw it out.
Yeah.
Just throw it out. Court won't even be able to take it, right? So now I've created an abrasive environment where...
That's all. I was just always wondering because once you get to that point where, like, you're saying, hey, this part and this part are contradicting. Can you clarify, how they work? Because I'm calling you out on this bullshit that I see. I don't know if you know this is bullshit or if you wrote this bullshit, but I want you to know that I see this.
And I want you to
do something.
Right, about it.
Yeah, and if they come in and be like, well, this is what this means, and we do this and that way, and, this is how we operate, da-da-da-da-da. Like, I figure, like, okay, if this is what this means, this is what you're telling me, this is what this means, you represent your company based on this contract, because I called you to talk about this contract, and you say this is what it means, something. You don't do that, I got this recorded and I can take it, but I get you.
Right, I don't do the recording stuff, because then it's like, even if the person recording, do they have the authority to, it becomes an authority thing. I know. There's a lot of layers to it, and then I don't want the abrasive energy. I just want to bring up a bunch of different stuff.
True.
And as we're going through all these different points in an agreement, typically, if it's too many points, y'all find them saying the repetitive thing. Well, this is our standard. I'll get that changed up for you. This is okay. Yeah, we do this with everyone. Let me see if I can work that out. And then if I hear that too many times, I'll say, hey, how about we do this? Because I know that this is a standard agreement, and every organization has a standard agreement how they do things. Can we go about this and maybe create something more custom, right? There are a lot of sections here that I like. There are a lot of sections here that make sense. I've listened to you. I understand why you're approaching it this way. But can we do something more custom? Because I know that we are also having a conversation with your client, and they mentioned that we would be able to do these things as well. And none of these things are in the agreement. And I like to add some of that content to the agreement. I don't come with how to do it because that's their job, right? To add it to the agreement, right?
Right.
Even if I have an attorney, I'm not paying my attorney that you add
Yeah,
the shit.
yeah,
It's
so
your
yeah,
bill.
it's your shit.
You add that to you add that to the agreement, right? Can we add this to the agreement, right? And then they'll be more open. And my whole conversation is in positivity. I never accuse. I just bring awareness to, and I ask questions. And the questions that I ask, they're going to come to the same conclusion that I did, which is this is some bullshit,
Yeah.
All right. And otherwise, they'll come to the conclusion that this agreement, your artist is just not there yet.
And that's what it is.
And I'm comfortable with that conversation. That's a real conversation. It's like, okay, well, we're not there yet. Well, where are we? There might be there might be some misalignment with where you think we are and where we see ourselves, so that we can create a better situation, right? And then also we have to understand our strategy, right? And this is management talk because artists really can't do this.
Artists can't do this, man. They can, but it's not.
It's very difficult because anyway. So at that point in the conversation, it goes to, if there's misalignment on the value, then I may find myself saying, okay, if we're negotiating across 8 different things. Yeah. Right? That's what you're really doing. It's like, okay, there's publishing here, there's master ownerships here, which is ownership of masters, there's points, right? We're talking, there's merchandising, there's all these different things that are in the agreement. There's ownership of the name, right? There's ownership, name and likeness, all that type of shit.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of shit that's involved.
You have to, because you're signing off for a lot of things.
And what an artist wants is everything to go their way. And that's only going to happen if the artist is already popping this shit on the like Drake can have everything go his way.
Of course.
Right? And the label will say, whatever you say, so we'll take it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But you can't because you're not Drake. So like that's the Drake deal. Yeah. Right? So an artist will then say, well, I can get it if I go independent. Yes, you can. If you go independent, you can have every goddamn thing. But now you need to go do every goddamn thing. And you'll end up with you'll like you can get. Do you want 10% of? Do you want 10% of $1 million or 100% of zero?
Yeah, 100% of zero.
So you gotta really figure out where you want to play. Yeah. So what I do is it's like an EQ. I'm EQing the contract.
There you go.
I gotta turn the lows up a little bit. I gotta turn this down. Gotta turn this up. Gotta turn that down.
Balancing it.
I'm balancing. Yeah. I'm balancing the agreement because the EQ says, "Ooh, hit it." Man. The EQ says that everything's even. Yeah. But it don't sound like that.
Right. It don't sound right.
And I'm listening. It ain't that. So I gotta turn the levels up and then bow. That's the perfect deal for me. And the thing about it is, anytime you're doing a deal with someone, they have no idea what the fuck you really got going on.
Real.
So when I turn this up, I know
what I'm doing.
That we get more of our money from that.
So I'm going to put all my time and energy into
want that going up. And then on this side, you might be fighting me for that because you know that you're going to kill it on that. Side, and I'm going to go, well, you're going to kill it on that. I'll take, because you're going to put the work in.
Because I ain't got to do it.
Because I don't do this.
Yeah, that's real.
You do, right? You have artists fighting over publishing that they don't even know how to make money off of.
That's so true, man.
You ain't met a music supervisor in your life and never made a phone conversation.
Yep.
You don't know the difference between any type of sync deal. You don't know what a sync is. Ain't never licensed a record. Don't know what a licenser is. Don't know the difference between your writer share and your publishing share. But you want to fight over the publishing numbers in an agreement. Right. And you don't even know how to work your publishing. Right? Yeah. Now, should you be giving it all away? Fuck no. No. Because there's a lot of assets, there's a lot of things there. You don't give it all away. But if someone's going to come in and work the thing, then you cut them in so to motivate them to work. Here's a deal. I work with clients that do production all the time, right? Production, they have an opportunity to, if they're pitching a track, something simple. They're pitching a track for an opportunity. We're going to have to wrap up. Life is happening. Yeah. We're pitching a track for an opportunity. Track A, producers getting 100% of their side, 50% of the record, right? Track B, they're getting 20%. Which record is the producer promoting? Track A. Every goddamn time.
Every time, man.
Right?
Simple math.
It's just simple, right? When we do deals and opportunities, like we did a deal with someone that was like, hey, we want to eat on this and we want to keep the majority stake of our publishing on this particular record that you're shopping. This is a different opportunity. We're shopping deals for people. And they wanted to, we were getting in advance on deals that we were shopping, and they wanted us to cut them in on the advance and give the majority stake in the record, right? And I was like, that makes sense. You should want that. But why should I want that? And they're like, well, we don't want to do a deal. I'm like, that's fine, because there's a whole bunch of other people that will.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? But it's okay. You don't have to take it, right?
You don't have to take
but for us on our end, it's like, we could do the deal this way because we're comfortable doing it this way. And we can all win. Life is getting real.
Life is definitely getting real.
What?
So, just to kind of make everything in one neat package, you definitely want to be able to take your time with all these contracts. You want to take your time with everything that you're seeing. You want to be able to understand what you're getting yourself into, and if you don't know, like, ask for help. Don't just think that you're gonna make it if you just sign it and you're just gonna will yourself into it. It's not gonna happen. This takes hard work. You're gonna have to put the work in. You have to do a little bit more than what you've been doing, and you've got to like really focus your time and energy on making that happen. It's easy. It's definitely easy to take the route of not trying to figure that thing out. But you've already gotten this far. You've been putting enough work in to make your career grow in the way that you want it to grow. And if you don't decide to go down that route, like, be honest with yourself, be honest with the people who you're working with, be honest with everyone, because you want to make sure that everything you're doing going forward is in a line.
I'm gonna play this last clip and we're gonna get out of here. So I got a kid with a bleeding toe upstairs. I don't know what the hell she done did. But I want to play this clip real quick so you guys can understand, because we talked at the beginning, but I want you to see what happens at the end, right? He signs this deal at the beginning.
Like, I'll tell you, just to switch gears for a minute, like Leor, the first time I met Leor was a promoter in LA. And when I met him, he came to pick me up from the airport because I had a show.
Wait, he was a promoter in Los
We're talking about Leo Cohen, and everyone should know by now, I've talked about Leo before, that he was a concert promoter before he became Super Def Jam president, whatever, and now he's all over at YouTube, right?
Angeles.
Yes.
When you say LA, you're not
Los
saying
Angeles, not Laurelton, yeah. Los Angeles.
He knew where I was going.
And the driver's door didn't open. I mean, the passenger door didn't open. You had to get in the car through the driver's side, both of us. And we drove, and he was telling me how we're going to change hip hop. And let me tell you something. He was prophetic, though, because everything he talked about came true. Wow. But he was very much, I mean, this was a guy that was walking around with, no laces in his sneakers, behind, like, chasing behind Jam Master Jay with a joint in his mouth. Like real, you know what I'm saying?
Real
like,
Run DMC.
Like, he was a real, like, he wasn't the corporate titan that he ultimately became. But I always had respect for him because Leo is the one who made the deal. See, I own my whole catalog.
You owned it from the beginning?
I owned my no, I didn't. But I owned it ultimately with my deal, when I got to a certain position with Def Jam, I did a deal where I owned my catalog. Right? Leo is the one that did that deal. Wow. So I have to always respect Leo for that because, he didn't have to do it. They were trying to figure out how to make a deal that was rich enough for me to want to stay. Right. And, at the same time, they wanted to come up to a certain number but not go beyond that. So, I said, well, give me the catalog. And they said, okay, we'll work that out. And we got the catalog. So Def Jam has a really small interest in my catalog. I own it. And so when you hear LL Cool J song,
Mama Say Knock You Out?
All that. The whole when you hear LL
you
Cool,
own Mama Say Knock You Out?
Cali, Mama Said I Need Love, all that.
Mama Say Knock You Out?
Yeah. Mama Said, all that.
They don't own that, goddamn.
So when you hear my records and movies and on TV and stuff, I've licensed that. Anytime you hear LL Cool J song, LL has licensed it.
Okay.
Boom. And what I want to end this on and give people the energy is that at the beginning, he did a deal. He gave half his publishing. He didn't own his catalog, which would be the Masters. Yeah. Right? Def Jam had all that. But later in his career, because you're young, you're trying to make a decision. A lot of you guys are young trying to make a decision. Right? And later in his career, he was able to negotiate for what he needed, for what he deserved, for what he earned. Gotcha. And I think that the maturity piece, for those of us that are older, when you're 27, 28, you've had enough time to get on the internet and learn this shit. 19, 20, 21, a lot of trust and discernment is coming into play. Oh, yeah. Right? Oh, yeah. 30 plus, damn, ain't no motherfucking excuse.
Ain't no excuse.
Right? So, because you don't have time to make it back.
No.
The thing is time.
Yeah.
Time is a part of the negotiation. How much time do I have to make this deal back, to make this money back, to renegotiate, to restructure? He ended up having everything that he wanted in time.
Yeah.
And from the long-term view of the picture, he won.
He won.
Right?
He definitely
If you
won.
look at the short term, if he was fighting for all that day one, he
man.
might have never got the deal.
We would have never heard Mama say
We would have never
that.
heard LL Cool J wouldn't be a household name.
Never. I mean, you'd have missed in the house.
Right. You're just in the house. SWAT.
Deep Blue
Sea.
Sea. You would have missed all of
A
that.
bunch of stuff. And so, like, my man's, like, but then there's other people. At the same time, shortly after his career starts, Jay-Z comes out.
Yeah.
Who does it a completely different way.
Yeah.
Right? But, again, the work ethic, it's different ways to win in the game. And people will idolize, they did it on their own, they grind. But, like, my man's gets the same outcome. He gets the exact same outcome doing it a different way.
Just doing it a different way. Like I was saying, like, there are no levels to this music game.
Right. Wild Wild West.
Everybody's running. Everybody got a gun. How do you use that gun, and can you get away with the bag? That's the question. Because, I'm just saying, there's a lot of people out there.
There's a lot going on.
With these 6-shooters shooting out blanks.
Yeah, they got pistols and phones now.
Yeah,
You seen that?
I've seen that.
Yeah, I went to the club. They was like, "Yo, let me see your phone." What the fuck?
Yeah, they
Anyway.
got it was some James Bond shit.
They got like 6 shots, man. They ain't playing.
For real?
Yo, it ain't even like a 2-shooter. This shit's like
They're trying to take people out.
They got a whole little. They can hit you with a couple.
Take a camera.
They can miss a couple times.
Picture, I got you.
Look, I want to do more, but I can't. Like I said, I gotta put this Band-Aid on the baby.
Life.
So
Life.
thank you guys for your time. Thank you for your energy. I hope this conversation was beneficial. Again,
Yeah.
we're just Student of the Game is about us having real ass conversations.
Yeah.
Some of these conversations have points and goals and outcomes. Some of these conversations is just you should hear to get perspective. Because if you're navigating your music career, you're trying to get perspective. You're trying to win. You're trying to position yourself. And a lot of this is about that. How do you position yourself? I mean, I just walk for any of you managers now that have to do a contract. Hopefully, I helped you understand how to have the conversation better, right? And how to mark it up, and then send it over to them, right? Let them look at it. And sometimes be leery about marking it up. Like after I marked up that agreement that we talked about, I actually went back in and screenshotted everything and circled stuff because I didn't want them to feel like, they manipulate agreements and stuff like that. So even though I needed to go through, read, and highlight for myself, I went back in before I sent them the email talking about summarizing our conversation.
Right.
You asked, how did you record? I don't record. I send the email afterward summarizing our conversation.
There it is.
Per our conversation,
This
we
is
discussed
what
screenshot of the section, this, down, da. We also discussed this, I summarized the whole conversation in the email, and once they reply, I mean, it's all legally binding and everything.
That is true.
And that's how we keep tabs on what's going on. That's how we have our conversations. Because the first agreement you always get is going to be some BS. But when they see you to go through and break it down, they're like, okay, this person ain't someone we can just jerk around with. We need to actually bring some people in. And if they come back with the heavy hitter, you might go, get on your heels and go, shit, I need to get an attorney.
Y'all about to do the same thing.
Y'all going to war.
Yeah.
I asked nicely.
Yeah.
We fighting.
Yeah, we
fighting.
fighting.
I don't want to fight you. I want to love you. When this agreement's over, I want us to be kumbaya. So let me bring in someone.
Let me bring my enforcement.
Let me tap out. Let me tag team. You come in off the ropes, do your thing. I'll wait till y'all finish that so we can be good.
Right.
But this whole conversation came down to trust and discernment and strategy, and recognizing that when you're young in the game, you have to make decisions based off of trust, strategy, and discernment. And as you get older and you mature, you can renegotiate deals.
Yep.
And if you're already older and you're making decisions, you need to learn as much as you can so that you can understand what you're giving up, because you may not be able to make the same type of long-term plays, because people in the game stop wanting to invest in you for men around 35, for women around like 28, 30, and so unless you're already successful, right? Yeah. Or you've already got a track record, you got to create like the older you get, the more shit you have to support you.
Yeah, because 2 Chainz didn't get that much love when he was Titty Boy, but he got older.
He got older. He got more mature. He understood what he was doing. He got with Charlie. They did the thing. It's a lot of stuff changes over time. So, I just want you all to have perspective. Mm-hmm. If anything, this taught you is perspective.
Yeah, that's all it is. That's all it is.
I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little bit about a lot. Every time I turn this camera on, I'm trying to give you guys everything that I got right here on Phase 6. It's another episode of Student of the Game with your boy OZ.
Hey, man, you already know what it is. better than you were the day before. And that's it.
That's it. Check us out. Go to www.phasevi.com and grab something, learn something, win something, be
Please
somebody.
do.
We out.